All right, we are live on Twitch. Wait for everyone to pile in here.
I can see myself on my phone. There we go.
And we
Just
are
mute
live.
that so I don't hear it. Okay, I can see the chat and all.
We are also live on X.
Uh-oh.
We are live on LinkedIn. Cosmic, what's up, buddy? Hello. I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to pile in here so people can be here for the beginning. I've been really excited about this stream for a couple weeks now, so I hope you guys are stoked because I definitely am about this one.
And I'll try to play up to expectations.
To kind of kick this off, though, I'm going to share my screen and just show your profile. Let's see here. What's going on,
I can
guys?
see the wave emotes.
As soon as we get a couple more people in the Twitch chat, we will get moving.
Well, thanks. I've actually trimmed it down, the stash, so... Actually, how delayed is the stream if I'm replying to that?
No, I think that's you're seeing that pretty instantly. The Twitch chat is like instant.
Yeah, I guess the Twitch chat. But they'll hear my response in about 15 seconds.
All right.
At one point, I had the stash long enough to twirl. I might do that again for Halloween.
We'll give this just another minute or so. Boom. Yes, guys, we are doing some Flux LoRa training today on site with one of the Flux LoRa training masters. So hang tight. We're going to get going in just about 2 minutes here.
That's high praise.
And if you are a video game fanatic, then this is definitely the stream for you if you want to figure out how to get some Flux styles going in the style of your favorite video game.
It's easier than you think. Even I can do it.
All right. Well, that is the number on Twitch I was looking for. So, guys, welcome. My name is Tyler. This is a Civitai guest creator session. And today I am joined by the one and only KFTIGER, who is currently ranked number 4 on the Civitai Flux Creator Leaderboard. So,
and if you're watching this live, Cthulhu, who's number 3 right now, I'm coming for you today. I'm going to get that back. And if you're watching this on VOD, I've already taken it back.
Oh, man. Awesome. Well, join the Discord for the memes. Okay. Give me just a second here, Dever. This is a whole ordeal. Give me a second. We will
have to share my screen so I can't see the memes.
Boom. I will keep track of the memes. Let me just shift some windows around and then we'll get going, guys. Everybody, welcome. We are doing some Flux LoRa style training today with KFTIGER. He's prepared a new LoRa for you guys, and he's going to walk us through and show us just how easily anyone can train a style in Flux on the Civitai generator and give you guys some best practices. So without further ado, I am going to take my screen off here and let's get started. So yeah, KF, why don't you first, just for people that might not know you or might not be familiar with work on Civitai, just give them a little blurb about yourself and then we can get rolling.
Okay. Well, I mean, I assume that would be most. There's maybe a few people that follow me on here, but on here, my username is KFTIGER. If you knew me back in July, August, tend to be a lot more furry content and tools for that. It's progressed as Flux has come along, and now we've got a lot more styles and training within that. We do this effectively just as a hobby, and, played a lot of video games. It's been fun trying to make styles out of Flux, and Flux is a great tool for it. So we're going to show you some just how easy it is to make a Flux style. Because, I mean, War Anakin's stream last week was very detailed and a lot of steps I couldn't figure out. But this time, I'll show you on the Civitai Trainer just how easy it is to make one for somebody like me.
Awesome. Well, on that note, let me pull up your
Good to see
screen
a few
here.
people nice there.
Yeah, I think the entire gang of usual suspects are in here. All right, so where do we start here? What are we doing today?
So this is my user profile. So it'll look a little different if you're on it, but the first thing you should do if you visit this page, which you should, maybe it'll be linked in chat, is click the follow button. That's a good start. And that way you can see anytime I post something new. But today we're making a new game style. And I don't know, Tyler, did you want to... It seemed like you knew this one, so maybe you had something you wanted to say to introduce what we're doing today.
Yeah, okay. So, guys,
and Here, I'll show you some of the ones, since I should, really. Here's some of the ones that I have made recently.
I am a late 80s, early 90s kid, and I grew up with the Sega Dreamcast, and some of my best video game memories were from the Sega Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn, and I'm so sad that Sega could never quite fully figure out how to get their stuff together, because I always thought that those platforms were like top tier for what they were back in the day. So this man made a Jet Set Radio LoRa for you guys today.
And it was giving itself away here.
This game was like next level when it came out, and we played this thing every day after school. It was so I'm really excited. He's going to show you guys how he actually went about training the Jet Set Radio style, and it's not as difficult as a lot of you guys must think. Crazy Taxi was also goated.
Oh yeah,
I see your comment. Crazy.
All these songs I wish I could play right now, but we can't get demonetized, right?
We can't get demonetized, but also let's just take a moment to realize that Crazy Taxi was preparing the entire generation of Uber drivers for the creator for the freelance economy.
Yeah. Short drives and low pay. And I will, before starting, say I did post this on my announcements on Civitai, and the last line in this was, any proceeds of buzz donated to the article will go towards beer for the stream. There was 2,600 buzz donated, so I put myself another $2 in and got myself a nice can of Dino Sour grape. So I will be drinking that while presenting. Thanks for everybody who donated.
Super cool. Appreciate you guys for throwing this man buzz. We just talked about before we dive into this. Tell them how many Flux LoRas you have trained and put on the site since Flux released.
I think, scrolling through it, I estimated it was about 75. So
75 Flux LoRas.
Scroll down to like around here where it kind of switched over to Flux. 9, 12, 15, 18, 20, 21, 31, 40. Yeah, a lot. Some number between 50 and 100.
All right, well, Pixel Pusher.
And feel free to go through and try any of these. They're great. Some of them are better than others.
His LoRas are all really good. I especially would like to see more people create stuff with that action figurator LoRa that that we shared on the Civitai page the other day. The action figurator LoRa is amazing.
And there's been some really good ones shared. Absolutely check out the gallery. And some, higher rated, which I've agreed to not show. But absolutely some good ones. And lots. So maybe we should get into it then. Because maybe there's a game that I haven't done yet, and you're thinking, I'd really like to make a style of that. I've already done Donkey Kong, and a lot of other people are doing game design ones as well. It's nice to see. because I'm starting to run out of ideas. So I'm going to slow down a bit after this. But we'll get into it. So the way I start these usually, like in Jet Set or Grind Radio, I still call it Jet Grind Radio because that's what it was the first time it came out, is found a nice high resolution playthrough of the game on YouTube and just took a bunch of screenshots from it. So here's my entire training data set for it. None of these are particularly wonderful pictures, so there's about 40 of them. But I try to capture a lot of environmental details, character details, close-ups of faces. And you get the idea. I really wanted to get a cat, so that got in there.
So you literally just went through an HD YouTube video of Jet Set Radio and then just pulled screenshots.
Yeah, and that's about how I've done it for 90% of these. Is find a nice high-quality playthrough of something. It's tougher with older games, especially if they've been remastered and the remaster looks worse. So for a style, you get tons of pictures around the game. Yep. Like, I know other people have done ones where they try to focus on just environmental details, like games with nice drawn backgrounds. The way I've done them is more to get some of the split of both character details and background details, which has worked out very interesting and well for certain ones like Legend of Mana, which has nice hand-drawn backgrounds in the remaster, but, nice high-quality pixel characters. So you can see this one actually pulled that off nicely because all the characters are pixelated, but all the backgrounds are hand-drawn.
Is there anything in particular? So okay, if we're thinking about style, what would you say the key difference is between training for an entire style versus the characters?
Well, I mean, for a whole style, I guess it depends again if you're just going for environmental versus, a full picture view. But characters, I mean, you'd want to get that one character in different poses, different styles, different looks on their faces, different clothing. Whereas with a style, for example, with this Jet Set Radio one, there's only one picture of each character. There's nobody specific because I don't want it to overtrain on anybody. Somebody, although, there's two of the cop here, so it might overdo it on him a little bit. But Flux is quite powerful in that, even when you see how limited the training data for this is and how well it works, you see Flux is a powerful tool on its own to make kind of a lot of those judgments by itself.
So is 40 kind of the sweet spot when you're like gathering your data set? Is that what you found?
I'd say for Flux, anywhere between 25 and 50 seems to be a good sweet spot. I've done ones with way more, and it doesn't really negatively impact it, so long as those pictures are still varied. So if you included 50 similar pictures and 50 varied pictures, yeah, it wouldn't be as good. But I've done ones with 20, I've done ones with 150, and the results usually come in pretty similar. What really matters seems to be the amount of variety in the pictures. So like if it's a game where, or say, that Caravan Palace one, which is a pretty good music video, recommend looking it up. But the training images of that, it's only a 3-minute long music video. So there's not a lot of variety in the photos for that. It all looks fairly similar. But this one's only got 26 pictures, and the style came out just as good.
Awesome.
Shouldn't dig too deep into that because it's, I think, rated higher than PG.
Okay. So style is 25 to 50 images of greatly varied images with not too many reoccurring like people or objects throughout that data set. Otherwise, it could possibly overtrain on that specific thing.
Yeah, and I have run into that where, I'd say the Crash Bandicoot style that I put out recently, that one there's maybe a little too much Crash Bandicoot and a little too much Dingo Dial. So a lot of them take aspects of those characters into whatever you build. So like the dragon looks a little Dingodile-like. And Garfield is a little Bandicoot-like there. But, and the two characters, but if that's what you're going for, that works as well. It's just for this one, if I were to go back and revise it, I'd probably take out 1 or 2 pictures of each of them. It's not a bad thing in this case. Absolutely not.
Graph Bandicoot.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we get our images gathered. We go through, we get our 40, let's say 40 reference images for the style. What's next?
So now we're on Civitai. We've got enough buzz. We go to the Train LORA. Pick style, unless you're doing concept or character, in which case, pick those. And we'll call it Jet Set Radio Style Test. And, try to stick by that rule of putting what model it's for. Yeah. Oh, this is new. Sure, I agree. I'm not reading that right now, but that's new. Pretty sure. So we just copy our files into there. And this is going to be a part where it's probably going to be some agreement and disagreement with. But for concepts, I generally go with the captioning. But for styles, I've still been sticking with tag. Because I like to have one trigger word for it. Most of my styles do. So, for the one I have here for Jet Set Radio, I use JSR style. And by using that kind of word, it makes it so it, as long as you use that word in the tag list, that'll apply it on. So we've copied our pictures in here. We've got no tags. And, again, I'm going to show you how test and tile Instaban. Just to show you how easy it can be. We'll add JSR style in here, but we'll leave it all default, which is how I did this one. Max 10 tags, threshold 0.4. Submit it on in.
Max 10 tags, minimum
There's no real, if you're using SDXL or Pony, you could probably increase that. But honestly, Flux is going to ignore most of this from what I see. And that's not a scientific basis. That's just kind of, we can see his motor vehicle, his car, pants, gloves. You can actually train this with nothing. Okay, there is a question I do want to address. There is somebody asking, what about a real pet? Is that okay? Yeah, I can show you later. If you remember that, Tyler, I did make my pet in here.
Yeah.
I made a lot about that. And I can show the contest results and all that. But
or Neek, I think a real pet is okay. But just to address what Slayer was mentioning in the chat right here for that that little agreement thing that came up when on the previous screen. If you guys are uploading trying to train a real person as a LORA, you have to acknowledge that at the beginning. If not, you can be insta banned for it, because we don't want people doing some very dubious, questionable things with the trainer. So yes.
So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Don't do that. I haven't trained one my dog is about the only real life being I've trained on here, so I haven't run into that. And one thing I can point out is there is text on this one, which often I'd go in and edit out, but it's one picture with text. I don't think that's going to affect it. In fact, I know it didn't because I've already trained this one. Spoilers. I don't own the rights to all these images.
So we have one question in the chat right here. You wanna just acknowledge this real quick about the 40% confidence being a bit low?
Yeah, I haven't really tested otherwise. Say that. I haven't gone through on the threshold for confidence. I haven't really played with that too much. Like I said, this is kind of a way to show how easy this can be, because there's a lot of settings I haven't played a lot with, and there's a lot of things I don't know, but I get pretty good results.
Awesome.
So if somebody in the chat has an answer to that, absolutely. There's a lot of things in Flux I don't know. I've played around with character LORAs, had some success and had some failures. So, I'm trying to learn.
The results are
So
what matter.
yeah, I think. So those people are using it. But yeah, so we've got basic tags. I'd say these are fine. You can go through and try to fix it, but I'll show you that, I've already trained this one, and here's the exact training data. So say for this picture here, it was tagged as one boy, male focus solo, teeth, necktie. Her with her hands up, blonde hair, solo, gloves, dress.
So do you go through and add that specific tag in each one of those boxes after it does the auto tagging?
No, as long as I do it, like when you do the auto tag, I just make sure it's in here as a
Oh,
prepend
gotcha.
tag.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that way it adds it at the start.
Got it.
So I guess I should point that out. That's useful to do. But as well, sometimes with Flux, depending on the style, 2D styles can be a little more challenging, I found, but 3D styles, if you have the strength high enough, it usually works just fine without any tag. But I like to put something just as reinforcement so it knows what it's doing. So we've got this all together. We'll package it up. Yeah, it is surprising that for styles I do use tag instead of caption. I do use caption for some of my concept ones because I find it works better for, like the action figurator one. That works, I think, better with natural language processing. Similar with the beer can ones or the board game one I put out. Just because when you make a picture for those ones, you want to make it a little more customized. Whereas for the style ones, mostly you want to do whatever your picture normally is, just with whatever style.
That
And
makes sense.
I will get told off right now by clicking dev because they've added this new thing where it says, hey, you've tagged these images, but Flux works best with captions. And, I'm going to ignore that. So sample image prompts, to try this out, I would say JSR style and then something here. Some of the ones I use usually are a cat pointing a pistol at the viewer.
Classic.
And I've done that with pretty much all my training ones, so every epic I can see and say, okay, that's the one that looks the most like a cat aiming a pistol. If it gets overtrained, it might look like, Crash Bandicoot. Everything looks like Crash Bandicoot if it's Crash Bandicoot. And feel free to pause or slow me down if I'm going too fast at all.
Well, the good news is they can also watch it on YouTube after this is done.
Yeah. And so for these settings, for the training parameters, and this is probably where there's going to be the most opinions and disagreements around, that's totally fine. I'm just showing what has worked for me. I'll usually leave the num repeats where it's at, so it'll only repeat it, either the 4 or 5, 6 times, depending on how many pictures you put in. But I will turn the epics up and kind of aim for a step goal of just over 1,000. And I find, that's kind of my sweet spot. Because I find most of the ones I use are somewhere around epic 19, 20. I don't know if that needs more explanation. I don't have a whole lot more for it.
So it's basically doing more training steps through. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I know I've seen people say, oh, you need to have 5,000 steps or 9,000 steps. And I find by the time I get past the 1,000 mark, they usually start looking overtrained. Mm. So that's my own personal experience. And, for my models, I do test them strength-wise, which one I use, and set the model version details, which I'll show later, to point out, hey, this is the strength that I recommend you use. Nothing stopping you from using more or less.
Do you keep the resolution at 512 for Flux?
Yeah, I tried once with bumping that to 1024, and then the whole thing crashed, but that was really early with Flux training. So I just leave it. It will make your training image previews look pretty low quality, and that's okay. Because I take that and take whichever epic file and put that into Forge, which I'm not going to do because it'll crash the stream. We don't really want that.
We do not want that.
Shuffle tags, you can't really do that with Flux. Keep tokens, I do turn this on 1. if I have a style, so because I've got the word JSR style there, I do keep that, if it does shuffle, I don't think this actually impacts anything because it's not shuffling anything. So what keep tokens does here is it makes sure if all the tags are being shuffled around, which you would in SDXL Pony, the JSR style stays there.
This is a pretty good question that I think would help a lot of people. Can you describe to you what does an overtrained image look like?
Yeah. So there's a few ways it could look, like depending on how far overtrained it is. So sometimes if it's a style, it'll look like, if we're doing Jet Set Radio, it'll look way more cell shaded and kind of broken. So like instead of this, he may have extra limbs, or like it'll just be a block of color. There's also, if you have certain characters in it and you tried to make something like a cat or a dog, it wouldn't do a cat or a dog. It would make that character. So you'd start seeing it applying more than just the style to it, but more attributes of characters and environment into every part of it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain without looking at. I don't have one trained up to show that. But basically, that's why I like to use the sample image prompts. So if I said cat aiming a pistol at the viewer, as it goes through those different epics, it would probably start off by showing just a regular cat aiming a gun, but then over time it'll start applying the style and looking more and more like I want it to. And then you can kind of see a point where it goes, oh, yeah, that doesn't look right. Now that cat's become Crash Bandicoot. Or, that cell shade style looks a little too far gone.
Sounds good. I think overtrained, it could be described as too much of the good thing.
Yeah. And you can also, you can use some of those overtrained ones and just set the strength down. So it's not like unless it's so far gone, but you can use overtrained ones and just set the strength a little further down. For the other settings, flip augmentation, often I'll turn that one on for styles because that just makes, the image flip around randomly. So if you're making a character that's symmetrical, and maybe they have one robot arm, maybe like a character from Ratchet and Clank, you might not want to do that because then suddenly their left arm might be a robot arm or their right arm. But for a style, I usually click this on because, hey, it's fine if they're doing something left and right. Or the scene has a tree on the left, or the park bench is somewhere upside down. Otherwise, I pretty much leave it alone. Although often, and this is where I don't know the right answer, but on Network Dim, for styles, I'll usually turn this up a little, and that'll give you a bigger file size in the end, but that adds more learning information to it. Now, this is where I'd like to learn more, because I've done ones smaller and bigger and had similar results. But that's, from what I've learned, the settings in Civitai are actually pretty good. As far as noise offset, anything like that, I usually leave everything else set and then go to submit.
And guys, keep in mind, if you go back and you follow this on YouTube, try the settings he's giving, see what it spits out for you, and then you can always go back and iterate on it.
Yeah. And I'm not the mathematical whiz, and I don't have, a lot of the time with my stuff, it's, hey, I tried this at 1.2 and I tried this at 0.8 and it looked better at 0.8. So you definitely don't want to go into training like that because you don't want to put it into training 4 times. I've had some models, not in Flux, where I've done that, where one thing didn't work and you had to retrain the whole thing. But, there is a piece of experimentation to it. And hopefully this can help with at least getting over that hurdle of making your first Flux style. So I'm not going to submit this because, hey, I already did it. And I don't want to spend another 2,000 buzz. But it's kind of to show how easy it can be to get that all set up. And I'm not sure if we want to pause, take questions before we go to the whole time skip part where I show you that, hey, it's ready. Any
Do you guys
questions?
do you guys have any questions about the settings part that he just went over? Okay, well, Katz asked if you have a recommendation for a good number of image references for a character or an object as opposed to the style.
That's actually a question I still have. Like, I've made some characters before, and I've used around 15 to 20 pictures, and I've had pretty good results. I mean, my Gaston model worked out pretty well. For Clippy was a little more difficult, but I think both was between 20 and 30. And the things I try to do with characters is include a few different references. So for Gaston, for example, and I'll just tab over to him because, hey, one of my
Latka,
donations
this is
required I do that, right?
this is exactly like a food show. We are cooking in here.
Yeah, it's in the oven, and I can hear my video card just whirring away. Oh, apparently it's rated R. Oops. Yeah. But yeah, so I made a Gaston model because Flux has a lot of characters already built into it, which, jumping again, I have a list that maybe can be shared around of characters that already exist in Flux by default. So these
Can
are
you
characters, when you're making a picture in Flux, you can refer to any of these characters and they actually show up.
can you throw that link in the little private chat in the restream window so I can share it with everyone to go to
Yeah.
there's a little private chat thing on the bottom there.
Should I not show this picture? Private chat. Okay. Oh, everybody can see this.
Boom. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I'll share
Yeah.
that to the stream.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, and it's not full. I'm sure there's ones we've missed, but I'm trying to make a nice list of characters that you can just call upon pretty much any time in Flux and not need another model to do. Like Master Chief's in there, Samus Aran's in there, Amy, Knuckles, Sonic, Tails. Lots of movie, TV show characters. There's a lot.
I see a handful of questions about the DIM or the DIM.
Yeah.
Why network alpha higher than DIM? It increases the effective. What's the recommended values for the ratio of network alpha DIM for the different types of LORAS?
That's, I mean, a question I still want the answer to. Yeah. And that's kind of where my technical knowledge, I've tested by default, the network DIM is 2 for Flux. And I think for characters, I have not seen much issue with that. But for style, I've tried turning it up. Well, I haven't really tried turning it down. And I haven't seen much difference. But I have seen people match them and put a character out that's like a 500 megabyte LoRa for a character, and then it's a little confusing because you wonder what else is in that file. But I don't quite have the answer to that. I usually go with somewhere between 6 and 8 for styles, and I've had good results. For characters, I've usually gone between 2 and 4, and for concepts, usually around 6 as well.
Well, the good news about that and about you not having the answer to that just goes to show everyone and means that you can create really high quality Flux LoRa's and train this stuff without knowing everything. You don't need to know everything to get good results with this.
Yeah, I don't know shit. I know some enough, and I'm, part of the fun for me in this is learning, so I should learn stuff like that, but I started training Flux stuff right as it came out, so there wasn't a lot of answers, and I also haven't really looked up a lot of answers. I found stuff that works, and now, hey, I can share some of that.
Awesome.
But going back quickly to that Gaston one, like this model I trained with kind of 3 source references to give a variety. So a couple of screenshots from the movie character, a couple of screenshots from, there's some video game about it, Dreamlight Valley, which I had to watch a little playthrough of and took screenshots of that to get a 3D model. And then, yeah, that was suffering. And then there was a Stable Diffusion 1.5 model, which, yeah, had some pictures too. Yeah. So tried to make a variety, and the character turned out well. And okay, these are all PG-13, so it's okay. And any resemblance to Henry Cavill is entirely coincidental. There's not a single picture of him in there.
Awesome.
Okay, it's like a lot of discussion about network alpha that
Yeah, I mean the chat The chat's going to do the chat thing. The good news is if someone asks a question that we don't immediately have the answers to, there is usually someone in the chat who does, and they help each other out, which is what we're seeing in there right now, which we'd love to see it. But I want to see what the Jet Set Radio LoRa actually came out looking like.
Huh. Like, hear the oven ding right now. So,
Ding.
yeah. So I've actually already trained this one, as I mentioned. So, and I mean, problem is, because I got it ready to launch, I can't actually go through the epics to show you which one I picked and why. But I went through the list. I think I trained 23 epics. Oh, yeah, 23. And this one's the 19th. So I looked at all the example ones, and the one that looked the most like the sample images I wanted, yeah, that's the one I used. So I've gone through, this is trained, picked that out. I loaded the couple of different epics into Forge to make some example pictures. And this is effectively the end result. You know, I didn't want to put it through the training. I'm sure there will be another session on Flux Rapid training. And, you know, I have not tested that out because now, I mean, 2 months into Flux, I feel old-fashioned. I like to go through my epics and pick which one I want to use. And I don't mind paying and waiting for that. But it's kind of cool that they can make it that easy as well. So I've made some examples here of pictures using the Jet Set Radio Flux style with all the Forge tags. You can see I use it in Forge. Tested a couple of different strengths and figured, you know, 1.0 is a little strong, so I recommend it down to 0.9. We've got a skeleton dancing in the style. And okay, there was one comment on using captioning versus tagging for this. And it's true, like, you could actually use a tag and say a photo in the style of JSR style and do that as a caption. But I find with tags it works just as fine. You know, so long as you included JSR style in the right strength, you could write whatever you want here, and it should apply the style. So.
Dude, I'm sorry, I gotta call out real quick. Pixel Pusher, while you have been going through this, went and trained a LoRa on me with my gray beanie I'm always wearing. And this is what just came out of that.
Just watching it switch over. Well, was that Flux Rapid then? Nicely done.
That, I mean, I mean, you might as well just put that. If you want to put that up and let the people go crazy with it, since I am kind of a Civitai figure, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
He's given his right to use that as real life person.
But that's pretty funny. Thank you, Jeru. I always appreciate you stopping by and doing that. Okay, let's come back to your screen here.
I'm good with that. That's good.
Okay, no, so have you? Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's go through some of these images you made with it. Holy crap, sure. These look awesome.
Is it showing yet?
Yes.
Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So, I mean, I used some general terms. Pirate captain wielding a cutlass. You know, a woman cooking food. But you can see it's kept a lot of the environmental details here too. So the objects look like, you know, Dreamcast. Maybe they're shaded a little much, but the characters look, I'd say, quite accurate. It's not quite a John Deere tractor, but it's pretty close. But it's got the same style and face quality. Just the xenomorph picking flowers.
Dude, that is sick.
Einstein teaching a class, though he looks a little... I'm not sure if this is smoke or if this is chalk, but he looks a little out of it. And just a wolf getting drunk. It looks more like a karaoke microphone.
Dude, it's crazy how good it got the art style.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, this was trained earlier, but what you saw was exactly the same training. So all this came out of just that same data set, just the same training amount. You know, I'll hit publish because, hey, that's what it's here for. So it'll take a minute or two, and then we could probably actually use it to create something. There is a link to the soundtrack in the description for the model. I recommend you listen to the whole thing while making pictures.
Throw that link, since you just published it, in the private chat too, so I can throw it in the Twitch chat for everyone.
Highly recommend it,
dude. So oh wait, that was
it's coming at you live from the Civitai stream. Under the assumption the site's functioning properly during the stream, it's a high hope, but it actually looks like everything probably went okay. It probably won't. Oh no, it actually showed up already. So among all the other results,
guys, and please, if you guys create images with LORAS, whether you do it on site or off the site, please post the images to the gallery for that creator, so that they can see the cool stuff that you guys are making with the things that they're spending time making. And I'm not just talking about for KF, but just for everyone. It like not only goes a long way to help the community grow and to see what's possible, but it goes a long way to motivate the creators to keep creating and training things for you guys, when they can see that people are using it and enjoying it, and people get amped up when they see cool things being created with the things that they're making. So please always post your images to the gallery if you make something really cool that you're proud of.
So we'll try sending a prompt or two. I've set the recommended strength to 0.9. That's for my own testing.
I just went ahead and in the Twitch chat and in the YouTube chat threw the link to this Jet Set Radio style Flux LoRa.
Yeah. And if you do generate something good and you want to post it, try to make sure to use the add post button by the gallery. And if you post it that way, I'll get a nice little buzz bonus, as well as seeing your picture. There is something, I think it's still in the dev queue for cross-posting, where if you just take it out of the generator and post it, it'll post, but I get 200 buzz if you post it this way. And that goes a long ways to paying off the training back.
Yeah, and see, so we even got a couple comments in the chat from what I just said. Pogi, sorry if I butchered that, said he's got like 25 models, but people barely post any stuff. So yeah, guys, just make sure you're putting the images in the gallery for the creators.
Yeah, like I do this as a hobby as much as I've done too many now to really consider it a hobby. And here I am on the stream. I still consider it a hobby because I'm not really making professional money, and I'm not really looking for that. But the biggest thing for me that makes it worth it to me is seeing people use some of these models and seeing the funny stuff or interesting stuff they put together. You know, I put this one out this morning, the board game box builders, and some of the content, it's PG, I guess. Some of the content is pretty good. So
how long altogether would you say now, like in general, it takes you from like having the idea of what type of LoRa to make to getting to like finished product? How long is that process kind of taking you now?
For a style one, let's say it probably takes about an hour of work total, including testing. But I've done a lot of them now. But effectively, if you've got your Windows screenshot button or your Apple command for the same thing, find a good YouTube video, or play the game itself and take screenshots and get 20 or 30 ones, you can go straight into training and go from there. So you could really get it into training within 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Then, depending on if you do rapid training or slow training, take an hour or two, or 5 minutes if you do rapid. And then, from there, you can either post it right away and test it from there, or, if you have a strong enough computer, you can test it locally. But ultimately, a basic style could probably take 15 or 20 minutes of actual work.
Awesome.
Well, a little while to generate, but yeah.
And now you would say that your process is fairly dialed in with how many of them you've created, right?
Oh, this is good. Good time on that. Image generation. We'll be right back. So we came as far as making the model, putting it live, and then the image generation went down. So we were pretty close. But yeah, the print screen button also works. And I will promote another, I'll share with you as well. I have put together an article quite a while back, and I probably need to update it. But, if you're fairly new to the community and want to get a bit more involved or have some tips on, collaborating or engaging with the community, it is a great community. I've met some really interesting, cool people. I've learned a lot from people, and, every day it's nice seeing everything get shared. But, I'll share this one with you there, Tyler.
Yes.
But this is an article I drafted just about how to, some tips on, engaging, posting, sharing, etc. As well, some tips for creators, like if you're posting a model for the first time, how to make a good title, how you can tag your model to make it easier to find. Other people have added some interesting information to this. So, how to write a good description, some examples of bad descriptions, if you want it to be picked up by Google. Yeah, sorry, I don't have it muted, so if I have a DM, you all think you got one. And I mean, mods, staff tip, but hey, honestly, the team here does a great job, I think. Very engaged. Here I am.
We are few, but we are mighty.
Yeah, but they're also going to hire me on next, to help with investment relations and sales management. So yeah. Oh, we got something.
Hey,
it's a little.
Is that a Squirtle eating a pizza ice cream cone?
I'm not sure about this other one here, but yeah, it's supposed to be eating a pizza. So I'm guessing maybe the image generation screwed up as it was generating.
That's that's the Squirtle that got left at home.
Yeah, this one's definitely suffering a bit. But, yeah. I'll blame that on the generation, but I will test this more later. I haven't tested it fully on the site generation because it just came out about 3 minutes ago. But that's pretty much how easy it can be to, all the different SDXL, Pony, etc. are different. And one of the things I've been doing that's been interesting now is because of how good Flux is at recreating styles, which, it's tough for SDXL Pony to do. I've actually gone through and used some of these models, like the Day of the Tentacle one.
Day of the
Tentacle dates some of us, which is a style I did for Flux, like based off the 1992, 1993. Oh no, I didn't put it in there. Game, LucasArts game, with a very cool pixel style.
Mario in bed with Bowser is diabolical.
Yeah. And if you look through all of my models, you will find trends of the same types of images, and that's Bowser's in bed with someone in most. Just because it's fun to use the built-in characters.
Here's a good question from Kat. Any recommendation on image reference for character, 360 view, face, full body? Can they use action shots?
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend all of that. In Flux, it's a bit smarter, but especially for SDXL Pony, like, you want to get a lot of different angles in. So it's tough. A lot of people make anime character models, which are just going to be 2D. So all you get is left and right, and getting some of those angles are a little more difficult. But if you can get rear angles, side views, views from above, views from below, images of characters wearing different clothes, wearing glasses, hats, whatever, that will help as you train it. If you're using Flux, it should be smart enough to know what kind of angle it's looking at. But if you're doing it with, SDXL Pony, you'll probably have to use the auto tag or tag it manually to say, this is a view from above, side view from behind. But they're pretty smart once you put those in.
And then Inglestein asked, what are your thoughts on captionless Flux training?
Strategy of taking a drink before answering. I've actually, I can't remember exactly which ones I've done, but a fair few of my Flux models are actually trained captionless or only with the trigger word as the caption. And a lot of those are more the 3D ones. some of the more 2D, like Donkey Kong Country, I did more tagging on that. But I think for Ratchet and Clank and a few others, all I used was the tag, RC Rift Apart. Everything else I left blank. So auto tagging, but only single tag. And these came out pretty well. It did take a little, the realistic CGI helps boost it. Like, so there's some of them where I found having a second keyword does help out. Like the Donkey Kong Country one, a few of these, like the Yoshi's Island one you tested before, Tyler, pixel art style as well as the style does help force it to make that.
Do you find that a lot of your LORAS tend to work really well in the on-site generator, or would you recommend more so people try downloading them and using them in like a local installation of Flux?
My personal preference would be you use them on the site and post directly to the gallery using the add post button. But all these that I make them in mind of using the on-site generator, because not everybody has a graphics card powerful enough to run this, or it takes a little more technical know-how to get that running. So I would recommend using the on-site generator if that's your option. There's a lot of tutorials on how to get Forge, Comfy, etc. working if you do have the right hardware for it. And it's with Flux, it's changing. It feels like every day, a different optimization. So now you can do it on 8 gig video cards instead of a 16 gig video card. So I don't have the answers for that. But if you're just kind of dabbling into this, or you don't have the money for a big video card and you have some buzz, definitely use the on-site generator. And then if it makes sense, upgrade your computer later, or start delving in if you have the hardware that might run it.
I will go ahead and add one that I just made here. When you post from the image generator, it automatically adds it to that resource page that you use for it, right?
Oh, now we're going to get into it. Yeah. So one of the issues right now, and I think it's on the dev list of things to work on, but low priority, like if you go in and click the check mark and say post, it won't actually give credit to the creator of the model. So that's something I've addressed in here as well. I've made an entire post dedicated to the subject, which is, I'll share with you, which I would like to get the word out, but I have a feeling, staff might not be appreciative of it. But effectively, if you go through the image generator, or, if you just click the post images button up here, it won't actually give full credit. So I don't know if you posted on this one yet.
I did not.
Okay. But you can see right here where it says 14 minutes ago V1. That means, well, of course, I posted to my own model. But if I go to... can't show that. Say the board game box builder, which is when I posted. So you can see some of them say V1. That means somebody hit the add post here, or they clicked on add review and posted it that way directly to the model. And the first time you do that for somebody's model, they'll get between 50 and 200 buzz, depending on their subscription. If they have no subscription, they get 50 buzz for it. Me, I've got a gold count, kind of 2 gold accounts. Thanks for the buzz. I get 200 buzz back for every first post that way. So, for example, this model cost me 2,000 odd buzz to train, but because Cthulhu, Yejikan, Intramodel, Cran Peach, Dirt Collecting, and Gutter Mind, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people posted to it. That means I've already got 1,200 buzz back.
Awesome.
Owl fail. I mean, hey, if you're watching this next time, buddy, come on. But yeah, that's, I've tried early access and had mixed results. I'm not really fond of the idea, but these do cost something, and it's nice to, I feel this is the best way to do it. to kind of show people, hey, I liked your model. I made something I like. I posted it on here. You get some buzz back. For me, that's all the incentive I need. I don't expect each of these is going to pay itself off, or I'm going to, make a lot of buzz off them. Yeah, I mean, follow me if you want some humor too. That's what it's all about. That was my last featured picture, I think, before they cut me off of featured homepage images. I think Justin featured my Goat C card game. And I've never had a featured image since. We miss you, Justin. Had featured models, though. Yeah. So
okay, real quick, just because this is a part of the site that I admittedly want to start using more often, and I just don't use that often. So what's the easiest way to take an image we generated from the generator and make sure it gets posted onto your thing so you get full credit for it?
Yeah. I mean, this tutorial does go into it, but, that might be too much.
Oh, gotcha. It's a whole.
It's really easy. It just looks like a lot of steps because, well, I put 2 tutorials in here. One says, here's the short version, save your generated images to your device, or you can also just copy it from another tab. So, like, say, for some reason I really wanted to post this picture, so I could either, what's the best way? Open image in a new tab. I'll just drag it to my desktop because you can see it right there. You don't have to save it to your computer. I could just open another tab, but I find my desktop works for that. So now if I'm on the style page, I'll just hit add post. I'll drag it on there, and you all get to see this wonderful, wonderful Squirtle right on the page. But just by doing it this way, I mean, I'm not going to get credit for myself for doing it, but by doing that, now, it'll take probably a minute or 2 to show up, but it will have that V1.
Well, I just shared my first Jet Set Radio image onto the model.
I hope it was better than mine. Don't think it would take much.
Awesome.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're at 3:56, but we can go through some questions, topics of interest, whatever, unless you had other parts you want to get into.
Yeah, guys,
Job offers.
Do you guys have any questions for KF before we kind of start to wrap it up here?
I can only see the Twitch chat on my phone, so if there's anything in Discord, which I hope there's good memes, I'll look at them later.
Discord, they've basically been making LoRa image that. So okay, just I will share this with you guys for anyone out there who wants to have at it and help me become a legendary meme of Civitai. Pixel Pusher shared the Flux LoRa he made of me during the stream using KFTIGER's input and techniques, which I just put in the chat. So
is it live on here?
I just put it in the Twitch chat. The JBoogs LoRa is on Pixel Pusher's page. So if you look in the Twitch chat, the link is there.
Yeah, that's on my phone though, so I can't show it on my. I guess you can share your screen if you want, unless there's more you want me to show.
Yeah, no, I'll share my screen. So we actually had a question right here that says, do you think it's important to standardize the size of the images?
In which regard, I guess, would be the question. But as far as posting images to a model,
no. So I think they're referring to the training data.
Oh yeah. So I've run into that. Not much with Flux, especially with Flux styles and concepts. It hasn't come up, as well as characters, really. Yeah, okay, so you can see on my screen, if it's still shared, 200 buzz being added twice there. So that means I got some credit for 2 people posting the model. But as far as, orientation, resolution, as long as it's high enough, it doesn't matter too much with Flux. Like, as long as it's above a certain amount, I think above 512 by 512 works. Like, you can train it with pretty low res pictures. And as far as putting it up to a proper orientation, you can see the screenshots that I trained that one with are kind of all over the place. Some are more vertical, some are more square. There's not a lot of difference for that. I think it matters more with SDXL Pony. Like if you try to make a concept and you use all square, which I've done before, if you try to use that as a portrait or if you use landscape, it might stretch it out. But for Flux, should be fine. Oh, that's a good breakfast.
Dude, these are actually really good. These are like this one especially, the pancakes. This is legitimate. This is really good. And that like those speakers, I know you guys can't really see them, but you can see them when I do like my recordings for other Civitai videos. The speakers in here look exactly like the wooden speakers I have on my desk.
If you share my screen again, I can talk about my dog. Forgot about that. I didn't go back to that one.
Boom. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Cooking with Civitai. Welcome. Yeah, so I made, well, kind of my first character model in Flux was actually made from pictures of my dog. So there's also a Clippy in there too. What's Clippy like in real life? I'll get to that. That's a good question though. So I took I think it was about 40 or 50 pictures of my dog, where there's some real pictures down here of how she looks in real life. But it's actually her 9-year birthday, so I made a Flux contest where I made a model of her, opened it up, except not safe for work content, and said, hey, show me some good examples of my dog doing things. And, it's closed now, and I've pinned up the winners, and I've given a lot of buzz out. But there were some really good examples from the community, and, I was very impressed with how it went. Some really funny pictures, some cute pictures, a couple of more furry pictures, may not have won. But so if you're looking to make a model of your pet, which I've seen people do, I recommend it. Whether or not you post it live, you run the risk. But for me, this contest went well.
I think that's super sick and super wholesome. And a lot of the images look really great. I especially like the one at the Stormtrooper one right there. The Stormtrooper one is amazing.
Yeah. The dog, my dog didn't look great, but it's a little malnourished there. But yeah. But Flux is, I'd say, still quite early days. Somebody's pointing out the Junji Ito model. Yeah. Like, that's actually a style. One of the first Flux styles I made, which I put in the Flux LORA training contest, and apparently none of mine made it. So, but showing it doesn't just have to be video games. Lots of people are making artist styles. I've made some weird webcomic styles.
Well, guys, I really hope that this weekend, you guys are inspired to, if you have not tried training a Flux LORA, that you go ahead and do so. And yeah, let's grow the library of things that people are able to make with this stuff, because it's like it's incredibly powerful. You literally just saw not only what KF did, but also what Pixel Pusher did during the stream with the stuff that he got from KF. So, yeah, no, dude, KF, where are the main places that people can find you to keep up with you if they would like to keep track of everything you're doing? Is it mainly Civitai?
Yeah, pretty much Civitai. I keep it mostly separate, but I'm looking through. There's a lot of questions I see. Feel free to message me on here. I might not reply right away. I'm gonna slow down on the style making and everything for a bit, but I'll still be around and posting funny pictures. But if I didn't get to a question that you have, feel free to message me on here, or I'm on the Discord as well. I think I'm the same KFTIGER name on there. And yeah, there's already some good pictures. Much better than mine. Like yours there, Tyler. That was good.
The monkey was good. The monkey
Yeah.
came out good.
Scaly monkey there. Then, oh, there's a cross post. Didn't catch that part of the stream, hey? Soxan, that's good. Here is 200 buzz. Nicely done. You know, give it some love. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So feel free, message me if you have any questions. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's a great community. I'll plug the Discord since we're plugging the Discord. It is, a good place to ask questions and, talk to like-minded people, whether you're in the general chat or the NSFW chat. As well, if you need help with training, there's a good community in there.
Awesome. Well, KF, my friend, you are a legend. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. Guys, I hope you all see how simple it can be, or at least how easy it is to get started. And then you can go as deep as you literally want to go. But get yourself some buzz if you don't have the local capability, and go ahead and try to train your first Flux LoRa or just a different Flux LoRa in the style. Use some of the stuff that KF recommended, see if it works for you. If not, iterate and try again. But if you guys do post a LoRa using some of the techniques or whatever, or the inspiration that you took from this stream today, go ahead and mention KF in the description so people know. And this will be posted to YouTube either later tonight, or if not at the latest, first thing Monday morning, just to make sure that we have a video that goes up in the new week. So I am going to enable the Twitch VOD. So if you guys want to watch this back to get any of the settings, the Twitch VOD will be on Twitch as soon as the stream ends. Guys, my name is Tyler. This was KFTIGER. And next week, Friday, we have another Civitai Air roundtable with more of the new Civitai artist in residence cohort. So completely different view of all this stuff than what we've got over the past couple weeks. KF, dude, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's a good stream.
Thank you so much.
As I said, anybody feel free to follow me, message me. I look forward to seeing other people posting styles. It's fun.
It is fun, guys. This is fun. It is meant to be fun.
Having fun.
Not meant to be stressful. This should not be a stressful thing.
You should have a beer in hand while you're generating. Oh, I just realized how bad my lighting makes me look here.
I'll go. Well, guys, this is going to be
naturally that red.
This is going to be on YouTube on Monday, Twitch VOD right now. If you missed the stream yesterday, I posted an updated version of the video-to-video animate LCM workflow I use to separate the subject and the background. Go download that, make some cool videos, post it to that workflow gallery if you do. We already got a few cool ones in there. My name is Tyler. This is Civitai.com. This has been a Civitai Creator Session. We'll be back on Monday with Ali for office hours. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Make something cool. KF,
cheers all.